Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. We're so glad you could join us today for this AI workshop. My name is Vanessa Castillo Bell, and I'm here with Local First Arizona, a nonprofit dedicated to strengthening and growing locally owned businesses across the state. Before we like to begin, I'll just share a quick note for anyone who would like Spanish translation. Zoom has the capability to provide it in Spanish. Simply click on the captions portion at the bottom of the Zoom screen. I'll also like to recognize and thank our partners at the Mojave Small Business Development Center for collaborating with us to host this workshop together. Together, we're committed to providing the knowledge, tools, and resources to help entrepreneurs innovate and thrive. If you'd like to learn more about our work, please visit our website at localfirstaz.com, where you'll find resources and more about our organization. With that, I'd like to introduce my colleague, Josue Andonaegui, our small business resource manager here at Local First Arizona. Josue brings extensive experience in business administration and project management, and for the past 7 years has played a key role in supporting Arizona entrepreneurs with technical assistance and strategy. A graduate of our Fuerza Local program, he's bilingual and passionate about using education, AI, and technology to drive small business growth. Please join me in welcoming Josue as he helps guide today's session. Josue?
Thank you so much, Vanessa, and thank you so much, everyone, for making some time this morning to join us. I'm just gonna say something in Spanish in case there's any Spanish speakers who did not get that part yet. Vamos a estar teniendo subtítulos en español. Si necesitan subtítulos, en la parte de abajo dice captions. Ahí pueden encontrar los subtítulos en español. Thank you so much. And yes, I'm gonna make this presentation very interactable. I wanna be able to have a communication, like a conversation back and forth with everyone. So if you have any questions, please feel free to stop me, ask your questions. There's also the chat button down there. I'm gonna be presenting, but Vanessa, if anybody has questions, feel free to let me know or raise your hand. And so today I wanted to make this presentation very focused on rural, making sure that people are finding this useful for their business. So we're going to talk about what are some major industries in Mojave, right? We know that tourism is very important out there, healthcare, retail, logistics, and agriculture. And my goal is to show how to use ChatGPT for your business and how to improve your communication, your growth, but also how to be more innovative. I want to make sure that everybody has an understanding that ChatGPT is not just a Google search. You can actually get so much done with this. And if you implement it correctly, create processes that are going to streamline and make easier steps for you and your employees. And we're going to talk about AI basics, risk, because like everything there is risk and we want to minimize that risk, the customization of your platform, and examples for Mojave industries. And my computer is dying, so let me connect this super quick, just 1 second. Great timing, my apologies for that. Alrighty. So the first thing is, what is artificial intelligence? We hear it all the time as if this is something new, which is relatively new, but we have been using it in other forms for many, many years now. So AI is a computer system that simulates human intelligence, but does not compare, right? Like we tell it what to do. We are the brains behind it. It learns from data and improves over time. So the algorithms is what it's feeding it. We see it nowadays in our streets. The self-driving cars, they are artificial intelligence. They see what's happening. And here in Phoenix, we were the first city, I believe, to have Waymos. And we definitely see how it feeds off the algorithms, because at the beginning they were very robotic, but as they've been driving for now about 2 years, a little bit over 2 years on our streets, they are learning from other cars and their environment, and they are definitely more smooth what they're getting around the city. And so that's how artificial intelligence work, right? Whatever we're feeding it, that's how the brain is consuming not only what's around us, but how do we interact, right? I don't know if you have ever heard like, um, use my tone of voice, because the more that you use these tools, the more they're going to learn how you speak and simulate that tone of voice. Examples, Google Maps. We've been using Google Maps for so many years now. That's such artificial intelligence. Netflix recommendations, Siri and Alexa. For so many years now, Siri, play this song, or Alexa, turn off the lights, and all of that is artificial intelligence. So I want us to feel comfortable using it and knowing that it is not something new, it is not something scary. But like everything, we do have to have boundaries and limits on how do we use it to make sure that we are protecting ourselves and protecting our business. So these are just some examples that I put in here of retail. So how can we use AI in our business? There's so many, but I just listed a few. So retail, automate inventory reminders, draft marketing post. And in the healthcare industry, create appointment reminders or patient frequent asked questions. And we see this all the time. We've seen it for years. So again, these are ways that AI has already been used in our everyday life. Tourism, hospitality, promote events and attractions to visitors. In the agriculture, plan irrigations and harvest schedules. Logistics, generate supply chain and checklist emails. So everything that we're doing nowadays pretty much has AI. So if you are using a CRM, most likely it already has some sort of AI integrated to it. If you use a project management tool, it most likely has already some sort of AI integrated to it. Even Google Suites, it has a lot of AI integration in it already. So when you are typing something and it corrects your grammar, that's artificial intelligence, right? So just giving you examples of that. Risk and management. So this is something that I wanted to talk about because I feel that it's not talked enough. And it's really important for us to understand that while it is an amazing tool, there is a lot of uncertainties yet when it comes down to the legalities. And this is something that is changing by the day. There's a lot of lawsuits right now at a federal level, state level, on how much do we own of what we create and what we post here. So in the meantime, because there is not um, past legislation that protect our creativity and our work, it's very important for us to make sure that we're not putting in there sensitive or confidential stuff like client or patient data. So if you work in in the medical industry, it's really important for you to never post names, birth dates, anything that is related to a patient, because that is HIPAA violation. Right now, anything that you put into these platforms, they own it. And so we want to make sure that you are protecting yourself and protecting the people that you're working with. How do we avoid this? For example, like if you want to write an email to a patient, um, I would avoid using their name, avoid using anything that is there. Just talk briefly, and then you can edit it once it's inside of the um, private email box, right? So yes, you can still use it. Just make sure that you're not inputting information that can compromise the data of folks. Also, it's really important for us to never put in there things such as credit card information, debit card information, bank accounts, routing and account numbers. If you are going to be filing some legal documentation, never put your social security number, your EIN, your IT number. All of those things are things that you don't want to put in there. What you can do is, as you're typing, just put SSN or like EIN, and it's gonna know, right, that like in that paste, there should be a space for that, and then you can edit that separately. But never put information like that, because we want to make sure that until there is some sort of policy in place that protects you, um, we need to protect ourselves. Laws around AI are evolving in Arizona nationwide. We just talk about that. So it's really important to make sure that we don't put anything that could put us at risk. Other thing that I will recommend is if you are a nonprofit or a governmental agency that works with grants, don't put that information in there as well. So what you can do is create codes internally, and so you can put something such as um, grant ABC123, and that's your internal code, and you're gonna know which grant is coming from, right? But don't put in there like grant from the Farmers Association something, because or numbers, right? So because then it's gonna match it, and all that information that it's personal to your finances is gonna be stuck in there. So if you want to be using it for financial reasons, yes, you can. All I suggest is for you to create internal codes so that you're not compromising that data. Um, and AI continues to evolve, so there is some errors in there. That's why I always suggest for people to do their research, and I'm gonna teach you right now how is one way that I'm doing that. Um, but there are some errors still, right? So it's also biased at times. So we want to make sure that as we are working with AI, we're very specific. Not Don't just put um, give me data on Mojave business, right? You want to put give me data on Mojave business broken down by race, age, social economic status, whatever it is that you're looking for, because the data that it might give you, it might be very biased and just giving you a streamline of demographic. And we want to make sure that if we're going to be sharing these numbers with um, our communities, we are actually representing and giving the right information. Another thing is you can even put in there like only give me data from the US Census, right? Because that is something that we know that it should be accurate. And I'll show you right now how is one way that I make sure that it's easier for me to keep track of those things, because it is really important that us as professionals are collecting valuable data that could be actually shared with folks to create that trust and respect to all of our communities that we work with. Treat AI as a best practices. So always make sure that you treat AI as a helper, not a final authority. So remember, again, you are the brain. You tell it what to do. Don't just use it to ask questions. Use it to make sure that you are telling it what to do, right? If you want to say, hey, give me information on this data, don't just end there. Be like, now give me a resume report that I can present and ready to download as a PDF, right? So make sure that you are utilizing a best practice. Always make sure that you are telling it what to do. Review outputs before publishing and sharing. We just talk about that. Make sure that you do your research before that. And I'm gonna show you how to make sure that it's always throwing you links, because you wanna make sure that you can go back and make sure that the data that is given you, it's coming from a trustful source. Use AI responsibly in healthcare, legal, and financial contexts. Again, don't be putting personal data up in there. Use codes if needed to make sure that you are, um, yeah, just protecting anything that could be compromised. And so the customization of ChatGPT, I'm gonna teach you how to customize your ChatGPT. I feel like a lot of people don't know this part, and it's really important because this is how ChatGPT is going to throw information at you. So there are two versions. You have the free and the paid version. The paid version is $20 a month, if I'm not mistaken. But there are other outlets or platforms such as Gemini, Gemini, yes, and other new platforms. The oldest is ChatGPT, and there was just a research done, and ChatGPT is the best on the market. Um, because they're the oldest, so they have the most data that has been able to create those algorithms to feed the information. So the free version is GPT 3.5. It's good, but it's still very limited in regards how much you can type, how much information it give you all at once. If it creates those documents for you to download, if it creates images, so that definitely it's a big difference. And ChatGPT 5, which is the one that you paid for, it gives you all of that and even more tools. So for example, if you are in coding or you need to understand how to create a line of code for software development or software engineering, ChatGPT will be your best friend there. Even debugging codes, but it's also very important to be careful there because I mean your job should know, right? Like what is it that you can put in there? Because remember, once you put something in there, it could be owned by the program. Setting customization instructions to personalize tone and role. So this is where I want to start off with you guys talking about um, how to customize your ChatGPT to work for you. So retail, answer like a friendly customer manager in Kingman. Maybe for agriculture, you can put provide irrigation reminders for cotton in Mojave Valley. Something that you can put in there for healthcare is draft patient appointments message in simple English and Spanish. Or tourism, write posts to attract visitors to Lake Havasu. Those are just super simple stuff, but I want to share with you how I have mine because this is for you. Remember, this is not something that is going to be shared with other people. This is how the program is going to work for you, how this system is going to interact with you. So once you are in your account here on ChatGPT, you go down here. I have mine with, it has my name. We go to settings, and then we're going to go to personalization. On here, uh, ChatGPT personality, you can leave it as that. I have it as that, but you can also put cynic, robotic, listener, nerd. It gives you options, right? I always keep mine on default. Um, Custom instruction. I put for mine, take a forward thinking view. I always wanted to think if I ask a question, I want my ChatGPT to perhaps think of other questions that could come from my question. Or if it's giving me an example, it usually gives me two or three examples because it's forward thinking. It's making sure that it's innovative, that it's always giving me more than I'm probably asking. When it's talking to you, you can put a nickname. I just put my name Josue because that's how I like to be addressed. And then occupation, you can put your title, but sometimes I don't recommend that because we have titles that don't really reflect what we do for work. And so, for example, if you are, um, I don't know, if you just put attorney in there, but you can put like medical attorney for small clinics, right? Like a little more detail so that it gives you more information based on your profession, on what is it that you're doing. Also, if you're a student, you can put, I don't know, engineering or electrical engineering student, right? So that it's always giving you or thinking in the way of someone who is in that practice. And then more about you. This is really important because this is something that is gonna cater to your needs. For me, I have ADHD and dyslexia. Always proofread my work and give me grammar feedback because you don't want to have errors, right? So this is a way that you can even be more inclusive to your employees or to people that you're working with. So it is not just a tool to be a better seller, but it also helps you to be a better communicator with your staff, with your customers. And that's the magic about AI. It's literally helping people be able to break those barriers that sometimes we have. and simplify instructions. I am always thinking about a million things. The last thing I need is to read 20 pages. So always simplify instructions. Even if I am giving a presentation or I'm going to be talking about something, I ask it to simplify it for me because I want to make sure that I put my message across. I want to make sure that regardless of the demographic that I'm speaking to, everybody's going to be able to take away something valuable that they will be able to remember. Always sign emails with Josue Andonaegui unless asked otherwise. So every time that I ask ChatGPT to help me write an email, I wanted to sign with Josue Andonaegui because if not, then it will just say sincerely, and then on the bottom it puts write your name or like your name. I don't want to have to go through that. So I already let it know. That is one way that we are creating a system that is gonna save us time. Maybe it's 3 seconds, but that's 3 seconds I already got back for my life. Always include links in your response so I can learn more about the topics. This is the part that I was talking about earlier. As you're doing research and creating materials for you to share with people, this is going to give you the link of where it's pulling the data from. And so that way, if it's telling you that, there is 5 million people who live in Phoenix, and that doesn't sound right, you can go in there and you can see that it's not a trustworthy um, website, and then you can pull data from the census, right? So that's why it's so important to put customization things like this that are going to help you and that are going to help um, the way that you interact with um, ChatGPT or any sort of artificial intelligence program that you will be using. Here you have more reference safe memories. I always leave it on yes because I want to be able to go back and see conversations that I've had before with my ChatGPT. Um, reference chat history, yes, because sometimes something that I'm talking about is related to another chat that I had in the past. And so I want to be able to get like reminders of like things that, have already been talked about. And you have advanced here. If you are paying for the program, web search, code. So remember what I was talking about. If you are in any type of software development, engineering, you can use this system to help you create code or debug a code, which is really important in those settings. Canvas is super important because nowadays we're always trying to get things done faster. So I don't want to wait for my development team to create a flyer for me, right? Maybe I need it done quickly, and I know that I can do it using this tool. So always leave it on and advanced voice, have a neutral conversation in voice mode. For me, that's important just because like I don't want it to sound robotic or anything. And then we just click save. And there you go. Now you have um, your ChatGPT personalized to your needs. You can put whatever you want in there. If you are a person that is not very tech savvy, you can put that in there. I'm not a tech savvy person. Please always give me step by step on how to use a new software, right? For example, if you're gonna be using a new CRM, right? Always have that step by step behind it and it will give it to you. But instead of having to go every single time and like, give me the step by step, you can already have that set up on your personalization and it's gonna do it automatically for you. If English is not your first language, you can go in there and be like, English is not my first language, Spanish is. Please always proofread my grammar or I have I don't know. I have clients from another country. You can put the country, the language that they speak. So always give me a version in this language. Like if you are gonna write an email, it will give it to you in English, and then I don't know, maybe Italian if you're dealing with like Italian customers or whatever the case is. So it's gonna help you save time in the long run, because you won't have to be feeding that information every time that you use it. Okay, so I'm gonna take a break here, go back to our presentation. Here we go. And that's where, was there a question, Vanessa? No?
No, this is all great information, Josue. No questions, just comments from others saying, usually like Amy says, she uses ChatGPT as a placer, like name, address, phone number, and then inserts the name when she edits it after. So great input.
Yes, yes, yes. Always make sure that you are being careful with your information and your client's information. Again, we don't know the extent of how much we get to own and how much ChatGPT or the company owns what we put in there. So let's make sure that we are protecting ourselves and our clients. Knowledge transfer. So prompt examples. I'm gonna go ahead and show you some examples of how I use ChatGPT, because to me it's really important for us to see real live examples on how we can be using this tool to simplify our day, to make sure that we are being time efficient and also be more productive when it comes down to creating information that we're going to share with other folks, because we want to give them the best, right? We always want to give them the best. So retail and tourism. We have two examples here. Write 3 Instagram captions for a family or friendly RV park in Lake Havasu. Dropped a Facebook post offering a special Thanksgiving menu for a Bullhead City restaurant. Okay, so, oops, sorry. I'm gonna read them all just to begin with, and then I'm gonna show you how I will use them. For healthcare and social services, create a friendly script for clinic appointment reminders. Generate frequent asked questions for patients visiting a local health clinic. For hospitality and food, suggest 5 weekend specials for a Mojave Valley coffee. Write an email prompting a holiday package for lodging hotel. And then manufacturing logistics, generate checklists for prompting aerospace parts for Kingman. Draft an outreach email for potential suppliers. These are just examples of things that you can tell ChatGPT to do for you, but we're gonna go beyond that. Also, I don't know if you knew this, but Mojave County, it's the main source of um, generators for aerospace parts in the whole state of Arizona. So um, kudos to you all. You guys do an amazing job on bringing so much resources to the state, and that's something that I actually learned through my research on ChatGPT, because it gives us links to articles and you're always learning. So a lot of people think that ChatGPT is making people lazy. I think that is not. I think that is the opposite. It's a way to always be learning, because you're gonna learn something new every single time. I believe that from the whole state is like 60 some percent that all comes just from Mojave when it comes down to aerospace. And like it's amazing, because I think it was like $3 billion that comes out from that. Yeah. In agriculture, plan weekly watering schedules for cotton fields in Mojave Valley. Suggest low cost always to market local farm produce. Okay, so we're gonna go back to ChatGPT, and let's say that I am a restaurant in Mojave. So I want to provide, what is the Thanksgiving is pretty much the next. Okay, we're not a restaurant. We're a catering service. We're a catering service, and I want to be able to provide a menu for catering services for Mojave locals, right? So I'm a business. Um, catering services. I'll start with that. I want to provide. I want to provide um, thanks, Thanksgiving packages to um, let's say that they want to work specifically to banks for their annual parties. Um, please help me create a menu with three options for um, our appetizers, dinner, and dessert.
I love how specific you're
Yeah,
being to
yeah,
tell us this way.
yes, it's we need to make sure that we are telling it what is it that we want, right? So we're gonna do three options for appetizers. Let's actually get more, three dinners and three desserts. Um, okay. And then let's stop there. We're just gonna do that. And then what we're gonna do, so it's here giving us this, right? So it's giving us Thanksgiving catering menu packages, the appetizer, the dinner, and the desserts. Um, option number two, option number three. And so now what we want to do is, as business owners, we always want to make sure that we are prepared for that, right? So um, each dinner can feed 10 people. Please break down by, please, I can see my, because of the, okay, tell me if I'm still typing because I can't see the bar right now because of the closed captions.
It doesn't show you typing. It's
Oh,
the
okay.
yeah.
So let me type again and then we'll see what it says. Okay. Please break down cost by plate. Each um, each service covers 10 people. I want to get a cost breakdown of um, items. Okay. Oh, I was able to type without seeing. Okay, and so now it's gonna tell us here, right? How much are we gonna be, um, how much are we gonna be spending? And so they have an idea of how much they're gonna have to charge to make sure that they're, and for example, let's say that out of this they want to make 30% or a 20%, right? Um, you can even put that in there and say, okay, so how much should I charge per dinner if I want to make a 20% out of this or a 50% out of this because I'm also putting in there my time, right? So that's how I want to make sure that people have an understanding that ChatGPT is this. ChatGPT is not just the Google search where you go and you ask questions like, what is the weather like today, right? But you can actually say, based on the past 10 years, can you make me an estimate or a guess suggestion of what the weather will be like for the next week, right? And he's gonna compare where the weather was on the week of September, whatever, for the past 10 years, and it will give you that. So I want to make sure that everybody's having those um, prompts and ways of using ChatGPT. If you are, for example, um, working on social media, let's say, how much time are you spending on social media? This is really important. A lot of the times I have people that tell me, oh, it's because social media is consuming most of my time. I barely have time to, you know, get through my day with the other things that I have to do because they are overthinking it, right? You can be overthinking it. For example, let's do an example of how I would use AI to make sure that we are um, using this properly. So I want a list of the following holidays. Sorry if I can't write because I cannot see my board right now. So I'm just like typing, but I can't see what I'm typing. Um, Let me go. Okay. Make me a list of all the holidays coming up from today to the end of the year. Okay, we're just gonna start with that. Remember, a lot of the times people want to get so specific and so detailed, but you can break it by parts. And this is gonna be the first thing that is gonna help us structure ourselves. So I am a florist, right? I'm a florist who sells flowers inside a small shop. Um, and right now it's helping us search for holidays, verifying holidays. It's gonna give us an answer right now shortly. The reason why we're doing this, for example, for me, is for two reasons, because it's gonna help me with the marketing, but it's also going to help me as a florist understand when are the dates. And so I will know what are the flowers that are in season, right? So for example, if I'm going to have a 15% or a 10% discount on a bouquet of flowers, I'm going to look for seasonal flowers. One, because they will be in season. So that's what people are most likely going to be looking for, but they're going to be cheaper. So as a business owner, I'm killing two birds with one stone, right? We are understanding what our market looks like through there, but it's also going to help us on giving us ideas on how to advertise for those days. So we have October, Indigenous Peoples Day, Diwali, primary day, some communities observe. Okay, cultural observation, Halloween, Veterans Day, Thanksgiving Day, Black Friday. So we have all of this, right? Now I know for a fact that I want to have um, Thanksgiving and Hanukkah and Christmas, New Year's Eve. No, I don't think people really do flowers for New Year's Eve. Maybe some do. We'll put it in there. Okay. Um, Help me create. Actually, we're gonna do for all of them. Help me create post for my Instagram page to invite people to buy flowers from my flower shop for each holiday. Okay, we're gonna keep it simple like that. And something that is really important, once it gives you the prompts or like the things that you can put for your Instagram post, it's also gonna give you ideas. So you can start thinking, for example, if you know that for Halloween you're gonna be giving a specific type of flower, think back of if you already have pictures with those flowers, right? And now you can post that picture. You don't even have to go and create a whole new bouquet and like it's helping you think, it's helping you make sure that you are moving ahead of time. Um, okay, let's see. Okay. Okay, and look here. Today we honor indigenous communities in their stewardship of the land. We're featuring locally grown seasoned bouquets perfectly for office, lobbies, and gratitude gifts. Um, Pre-order for pickup delivery, your link, and it even gives you the hashtags, right? Shop local, flowers Phoenix. Well, we will change it to your specific city, but this is doing the work for you. This is the magic of all of this. Like we started with just trying to figure out what are the holidays, and now it's even giving us all of these great ideas of um, what can we be posting for those specific days. So if you think about it, this is a way for you to be maximizing your time, making sure that you are staying on top of what is trending. Also, you can even ask like what meme or what's trending right now, right? If you have a um, person in your communications department that is good with like editing videos or doing all those trendy things that are happening, they can even get ideas from here, right? We want to make sure that we understand who our target audience is, and we can even search like what are um, young people ages 18 to 25 doing right now um, for dating, right? And it's gonna give you us information from resources of like people have been doing research on that. Like you won't even think that people will research those, but trust me, there's information for everything. And that's gonna help us understand how are we talking to our folks, and how are we talking to ChatGPT, right? Because now that we have that information, we can go in there and be like, hey, um, and this is actual fact that I'm about to share. Every year in Mexican culture, um, from September 21st to September 23rd, there is a cultural, I don't know how to explain it. It's just, it's very cultural to give your significant other yellow flowers because it represents that I want to be with you for the rest of my life. So if you're a florist, you know, and you're gonna target that demographic, right? So I'm gonna target Latino um, buyers, ages some to some. And if you're gonna be paying for ads, you already know that you are actually hitting your target audience by doing those research with ChatGPT, understanding um, what are the cultural meanings behind things. There's just so much that we can be doing by asking and then learning from it and asking with prompts how to execute our ideas or how to execute those um, things that are gonna make our job easier. And I will go back now to our presentation. Um, there we go. And so, key takeaways from today, I want to make sure that, AI is a tool to support, not replace your business expertise. So, you're an expert matter. That's why it's so important for you to know how to ask those questions and how to set those prompts so that it does what you don't want to deal with, right? Like, you don't want to be thinking about how to write all those posts. Like, that is something that you can be using your time for something else. But you do want to maybe use your time researching, right? Like, what are demographics in my community, right? Um, what are Navajo cultural days that I could be using to get to my target audience, right? And not just to sell, but to really understand um, the cultural aspect behind it, because yellow flowers, what does that even mean? For us, it means like being with someone for the rest of your life. So There's just so much that you can do with AI, but remember, you are the one who knows how to do these searches. Use AI responsibly. Remember, never ever put your information in there, or your clients, or um, patients, specifically if you're like in the law, medical, um, you don't want to be, breaking HIPAA violations. Customize your chat GPT. That's going to save so much time for yourself in the long run. You can even put what city do you live in, or if you, for example, are the regional director of Arizona, Nevada, and I don't know, California, you can put in those things in there. And so every time that you're doing a research, it's going to pull data from those places. So just think about those like small things. And remember, you can always go back in there and add more. So if you just thought like, oh, you know what? I actually want ChatGPT to know that I don't like when it gives me things with emojis, because it will sometimes give you emojis. You can go in there and be like, never give me response with emojis, and it will never do it again. And then next time you think about something else, go back in there and put it in there. You are the owner of this tool. Practice with prompts daily to build confidence. Again, simple stuff. You don't have to write a whole novel. Just be like, hey, what is the um, what is the population of Arizona? And with that simple question, your brain is gonna start thinking more. Now, okay, so can you tell me, um, can you break down by race or ethnicity, or can you break down by age? Can you break that information down by socioeconomic status? Can you break that down by education? And this is going to help you create a market research on your business, right? So it's so important, if you're a business owner, or if you're working with business and you're helping them understand who their target audience is, artificial intelligence is a tool that needs to be used so that people are investing their money and resources on their target audience. It's so important. So we don't want to have people wasting their time paying for Google ads and other marketing when they don't even know who their target audience is. But just with asking simple questions, you're gonna get so comfortable to really do and dissect a whole uh, market research, to where you're going to feel confident on knowing who your target audience is, who are your direct and indirect competitors, and even help you create a marketing strategy on how to contact those folks, right? If I'm dealing with young people, maybe they are in TikTok, right? If I'm dealing with people who are maybe Gen Zs, they're probably on Instagram. If I'm dealing with people who are probably 60 and above, none of that is going to work. I probably have to do actual door-to-door knocking, or I probably have to do newspaper or radio ads. Like, know your market, know who your target audience is, and you can also learn all of those by using AI. And I get so excited talking about that because it's something that I'm very passionate about, but you can pretty much do anything with AI that you put your time in. Um, and resources. I want to talk about Local First Arizona real quick. We provide technical assistance 101. So if you have any questions about AI, how to implement AI into your daily operations, please feel free to reach out to us. We're more than happy to share our expertise, and just we also have our local learning lab that has videos in there already for you to learn on your own time. We know that business owners are busy people, but there's always time for you to learn something new. Thank you so much to Janet for collaborating with us. And these are, if I don't know if you wanted to say something about any resources that you have out there.
Oh, yes. No, thank you, Josue. That's great demonstrations too, and lots of great content about AI. I really appreciate it. I did pop into the chat a website, Arizona Prospector. Um, So it's really great for demographics and all kinds of different layers and different levels of economic information throughout Arizona. So everybody can who's attending can go to that website. Chat GPT or any AI tools, um, like you mentioned, you really want to make sure that you verify, trust
Yeah.
but verify would be the great way to use that, right? And yeah, so thanks so much for letting us partner with you guys. And we have all kinds of tools and techniques as well. We can help you write a business plan, local first, and the SBDC really offer similar services. And I'm just really grateful that you allowed us to partner with you today. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Janet. And yes, this video is going to exist on our local learning lab. So if anybody wants to go back and look at it again, perhaps you didn't really get how to get into your um, customization of your tool, you can go back in there and see the step-by-step, or share it just with anybody that you know that is trying to implement AI into their operations, business operations. Vanessa, do you have any last words?